Hair. I'm saying hair high.
Hey.
Okay.
Better.
3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome to. Hey everyone. Okay. 3. Hey everyone, welcome to Girl Meets Christ podcast.
This is your host Ellie,
And I'm Ella, and today we're going to be talking about gossip. Okay, so as you can see, we're in a different setting than we were the first time. All of our other podcasts are done in Ellie's room, and this podcast is done in my college dorm. And we have a lot of new equipment, so we're excited to bring the podcast back for another episode and hopefully do some more this summer and help grow the podcast because we both want to start doing this again. It was just the transition of like getting into school. For me, this is my first year on campus, and we like don't get to see each other as much as often, which is kind of sad. But so we're gonna be getting back into the podcast, and today we're gonna be talking about gossip because it's been something we've been talking a lot about lately, and just think it'd be a really important topic to share. So Ellie's gonna start us off with a verse, and then we'll get going on the topic.
Okay, so actually, first of all, I wanted to say that gossip is like, I feel like one of the most normal things, especially with like, probably with mostly girl groups too.
Yeah,
I feel like guys aren't as, I don't know, because I'm not a guy, but if when we're talking about this, like, if you gossip, you're not a bad person, okay?
No,
I believe that I believe you're
it.
a good person. I really do.
Yeah.
And we can all do better. This is just something that has been on our hearts that we've been talking about with each other.
Like a self-conviction,
And
even. That's literally why that we brought this up, is I was like, I'm convicted, like, I gossip. It's something that's so easy for me because I feel like it's such a form of connection.
I feel like it's good to admit that we do both slip up sometimes.
Because it's easy to, I feel like it's, because it's made so normal to talk about people, it's really easy to fall into gossip.
We're human. We
Yes.
make mistakes. So the first verse that I had, the only verse I had written down for this, is kind of where all of my thoughts about this like spiraled off of. Proverbs 20 verse 19, and that says, "A gossip betrays a confidence, so avoid anyone who talks too much." Watch out for them yappers. Anyways, certified yapper. So let's break this down a little bit. So the first chunk of this verse says, "A gossip betrays a confidence." So what I'm getting from that is gossip does not come from confidence. It comes from the opposite. It comes from an absence of confidence, insecurity. Honestly, I feel like they're trying to feel better about themselves.
Yeah. Like if you're insecure about something, you want to take the focus off of that. Like I'm talking about for how I've gossiped.
Yeah, you want to feel better about yourself by looking down on others and putting others down and being like, at least that's not my situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
you
almost just trying
yourself.
to build yourself up that way. That's never really going to, like, that's a temporary fix for your insecurity, and that's never really going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Ever.
And it makes your heart level towards another person like just like overall negative. Like I've realized like the more I gossip, the more I see things to gossip about. So it's like, I gotta tell so and so this, and then I'm like I've really been trying to focus lately on not gossiping. When it's hard when you're around girls all the time. Like
it is
literally, even not in like negative forms of gossiping. Like not necessarily we're talking bad about other people or like the insecurity part of like, her hair looks bad or this, but it's just like, did you hear this? I wonder if this. Even just the things of like the Christianity gossip of, oh my gosh, did you see that girl's pregnant? That's so against the Bible. Well, what you're doing by gossiping is also against the Bible.
Yeah.
And, did you see that girl, what she wore to church? That's so immodest. The Bible also calls us to love one another and to not, like, be gossiping. And so judging other people's sins and talking about them with other people, you're just sinning. Like, we all are sinning. And sitting around talking about it is sinning. And we have our own sins that we're, like, going like this with while we're talking about everybody else's.
Like you're trying to shove your own sins behind your back and like distract other
So
people from them.
honestly, even when you're not talking about insecurities as far as physical, gossiping is taking the attention off of something negative in your own life.
Yeah.
It's trying to put
It's
like
distracting yourself or others from something that you just don't want to bring to the light,
yeah.
which is never going to get rid of it.
Like, let's talk about someone else's sin who's already in the light. When it's like, how about we just all realize we have crap going on?
Yeah.
And just not talk about it. Which, I literally can't even say that I'm innocent of this, because I gossip every day.
Honestly,
to a certain
it's
extent.
really hard.
Yeah. That's probably the hardest sin, because it's not one that you're thinking about actively when you do it. It's so easy to slip into it because it's verbal. It's not like, oh, I need to not do this, and it's a physical action, or I need to not do this, and it's, you have to get in your car and go somewhere, or do this, or like, it's really just something that happens so naturally, even when you're in a church setting, or in a small group setting, or with a group of girls, or a group of friends who are Christian.
Yeah, and think about it from this view, like, if someone's gossiping to you about someone else, who's to say that they're not going and saying the same things about you?
I've noticed that exact thing of like...
And words are hurtful, okay?
Yeah.
You might think that they're not hurtful. No one's hearing them. It's not going to harm anyone. God hears it.
Yeah. God hears
He does. And words are very impactful. I remember things that like teachers have said to me in first grade. I still remember that, and I'm 20 years old.
Yeah,
You know
happy
what I
birthday
mean?
to Ellie. She's had, I think, 2 birthdays since we last recorded. Or
Have
1.
I? 2?
I think
I
we're
think
18
1.
and 17.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we were 18 and 17.
Okay, well, I'm 20 now. Hey guys.
And I'm 19.
But yeah, I still remember things that people have said to me from like elementary years, words, but I don't remember what I ate for dinner yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, words stick
Words
with you
stick.
more than anything
Because
else.
you hear them over and over in your head. Like even being in dance, like the same thing with like teachers, of like things that like people you like admired and looked up to, like said things down to you. It like sticks, and it infiltrates your life in ways that you don't even realize. Like if you're talking down on someone, whether to their face, well, that's not really gossip. That's a whole different topic of just like not being rude. But if you talk behind someone's back and that gets back to them, those words could infiltrate who they see themselves as. Like, you could be directly targeting someone's character and who they are as a person by gossiping about them.
Yeah.
Not only to them, but other people. Other people are going to see them in the way that you talk. And you're also making yourself look horrible by talking about other people, because it's like, it shows, 1, insecurity. 2, that insecurity that you now have in a friendship of like, should I be talking or being friends with this girl, because who am I to say that she's not going to go behind my back and talk about me?
It creates that trust thing that you want to have in friendships. Like, I can tell Ella something, and I know that she's not going to go run and tell someone else. If it's something super private, she's not going to.
Right.
And we have that trust.
Yeah.
But if someone else is talking to me about someone else's business, I'm not going to go to them for guidance on anything that's personal. I'm not going to tell them anything that's personal, because I don't want it.
Because you know that they're just like, oh, I have information.
Yeah, no. It's icky, and it is a little bit unattractive.
Yeah, it is.
Because
the thing about that is, like I was saying earlier, like I have this verse, it's, okay, this is John 14:34. And it's, so now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other just as I have loved you. You should love each other. Loving each other does not mean talking about each other in a negative way and behind each other's backs. And if you've ever loved someone truly,
that's not pure,
you know that.
genuine love, yeah.
Yeah. Because if you've ever loved someone truly, you know that talking about them feels absolutely horrible, and it just doesn't come naturally. It doesn't,
because it's hurting them.
Yeah, because that's like a piece of you, almost. Like, having that person is like a piece of you. Like, I would never go talk about her. And I like I said, I struggle with gossiping, but I can't remember a single time where I've been like, Ellie, blah, 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 blah. Like, I just, like,
because I don't do that to you either.
Right, and I know that. Yeah. I know that, like, we have that trust, and that's what makes us such close friends, is we can challenge each other. Like, we've gotten in fights, like, little ones, But we talk about it and we're good like an hour later. Like, if that. Like, and so I don't need to go talk about her like, oh, Ellie's this and that. Because I know that there's potential and that there's, like, longevity in our friendship. I'm just going to go straight to her about a concern or about a thing. And I love her, so I don't have any negative things to talk about her. So I feel like looking at it from the aspect of, like, even if you struggle with someone, love them like Jesus loves them. And Jesus wouldn't go around talking badly about you, so you shouldn't be doing that with others.
What would
as well.
Jesus do, girl? Not that.
Logan's famous quote. Yeah. So my next verse, we're pulling up the scripture today, guys. My next verse is in Matthew 7, and then my next verse is also in Matthew 7. Matthew 7:1, and it says, "Do not judge others, and you will not be judged." And then going into 2, it said, For you will be treated as you treat others. The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged. Reading that even just hit me because it's like you literally control how you will be judged. You control how you will be judged by how you judge others. You control how you will be treated by how you treat others. Like it said, for you will be treated as you treat others. Right in the Bible.
Treat other people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
I got taught that.
And that's the golden rule.
In kindergarten.
That's the golden rule, and it's literally from the Bible. We hear it, like, growing up. Yeah, you learn it as early as kindergarten, preschool. But it's literally in the Bible. It's Matthew 7:12. It says, "Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you." This is the essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets.
This proves the Bible still makes sense.
Yes, it still applies.
It still applies.
It still applies.
Really,
and I think sometimes
really
it's okay to vent. But the thing about venting is that there's people for that. Don't go to someone who's not going to pour into you.
Yeah.
So, like, if I go to her, me and her, we don't gossip, we challenge each other. And so, like, the other day, I was explaining to her some struggles about some people, but I wasn't coming at it from the fact of coming to her so that she would validate me and be like, oh my gosh, those people are so horrible, X, Y, and Z. It's like I was going to her to vent because I'm frustrated. I want to go to someone who I know it's going to feed into me, because she literally was like, you just need to be out of an environment for a while. You need to have some good poured into you. Remember, you can do things besides gossip.
Yeah.
And then we thought to make this podcast episode. And so, like that as an example.
Your situation doesn't necessarily have to change for you to stop talking about people the way you do. You know what I mean? Like, the and conversations
like you said, straight up telling people. Yeah. Like, it might be awkward to be like, oh, but me and my one friend gossip all the time. I don't just want to randomly get dry with her. So don't. Tell her that you've just made a decision that you're not going to gossip anymore. You can, like, if you have a true friendship with someone, you should be able to be like, hey, I know we just talk crap a lot, or I know we like to gossip, but
like, hey, I'm trying to do better with this.
Like, just be honest. Lately, I've been challenging myself of trying not to gossip as much, and so that comes with, you know, being straight up about that.
Yeah. And you know what? If they're a real friend, they're going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And
they'll admire you for it.
Yeah, and they're going to follow in your lead probably, too. Yeah. And that's...
Because you're challenging. You don't have to say it from the aspect of, like, I'm better than you. I think gossiping is so bad. Yeah. Because that's another sin. You're being self-righteous. And so, like, all these sins just top onto other sins.
Yeah.
It's don't stop gossiping because you want to be the best person in the whole world, and you think that if you stop gossiping, you're sinless. You're not. You still sin every day. You know, if you covet in your heart, you covet in real life. What does covet mean? I said that, like, out of the Bible, and I think it means, like, steal. Like, covet. Like, it says, like, if you covet your neighbor's goods.
I don't know what
covet
that
your
means.
Neighbor's wife.
Context clues, I went off of what you were just saying, but I have no idea what that is.
So, like, if you commit adultery in your mind, like, there's that whole topic of, like, looking at another girl with lust is already cheating on your wife. And so, looking at someone with lust, that's cheating. In our discussion about porn on one of our previous, I think that was actually our last podcast.
I think it was our...
That's, like, our current... We disappeared. An action or a thought is just the same as... A thought and a thought in your mind and your heart is just the same as doing it, which is super challenging to get over, because if you think about murder, if you think about infidelity, if you think about stealing, if you think about someone in a negative way, that's all stuff that you're committing. You're thinking about it. It's happening in your mind. Something has to happen in your mind and has to sit there and harbor for a while before it happens in real life. Someone who never thinks about murder isn't going to go kill someone. And so not thinking about someone in a negative way.
Their first thought of murder isn't going to be happening while they're murdering someone.
Right. Like, you think about that. That happens. Something, you give birth to sin in your mind before you give birth to sin through your action.
Yeah.
And so, that,
That's
that
good,
comes with so many things. But thinking about people negatively and thinking in a way that's gossiping, you have to challenge yourself before you can challenge other people. You have to come to the conclusion in your mind that, like, I don't want to gossip. I don't want to have this heart posture anymore before it actually comes to fruition. And so making those decisions to turn from sin are so important.
There has to be a heart change.
Yeah.
Your heart, yeah. You really have to soften your heart. Like, your heart really has to
have empathy.
soften.
You have to have empathy for other
people. Yeah. To realize that you don't want to hurt them and what you're doing is hurting them by gossiping.
Even if it's someone that you don't like because they've hurt you.
Even if it's someone you don't know. A celebrity.
Yes. Did you see Alios's video on that?
Yeah.
The reel?
Yeah, I did.
That hit me. That's, I feel like, when I started thinking about it, because I was like, dang, she doesn't gossip. I was like, if Alios doesn't gossip, I gotta check myself. Oh, Allie, come on. Gossiping is hatred towards others. Happens in your mind. So if you start in your mind thinking more positive about others, thinking from the place of empathy, thinking of the place of what would Jesus do, that sounds so overused, but genuinely.
Yeah.
Watch The Chosen. Have you watched The Chosen?
Yes.
He's so gentle.
Yeah.
He's so gentle and he's so loving. And if you really like watching it has helped me to, like, genuinely see, like, the Bible come to life.
Yeah.
But, like, seeing The Chosen and seeing, like, Jesus come to life and be so soft and getting that little sneak peek of what we're going to see in heaven.
It's wild.
It's made me tear up so many times.
Yeah.
So the episode where, this is perfect for gossiping, actually. The episode where he heals the woman who was bleeding for 12 years. Everyone was like, get away from him. You're going to make him unclean. We don't accept you here. We don't accept you here. We've been talking about you. They see her as unclean. They see her as this just horrible because she's been bleeding for 12 years. She has the faith to go up and touch Jesus. And he turned around and he said, who touched me? Who took my power? But he wasn't angry. He was so happy in her faith.
Yeah. Faith
is a different topic, but I'm talking about the aspect of, like, everyone was, like, shunning this person, talking so negatively. Did God turn around did Jesus turn around and be like, oh, I'm going to focus on you guys? No, he focused on the woman who was being talked about and the woman who was struggling, and he focused on her.
Yeah.
So thinking that you're so much better than someone because you're talking about them is really not true, because Jesus is looking at that like, come on, like, that's also my child. And so challenging yourself to, like, really not think about people in a negative way. If you don't think about someone in a negative way and you challenge those thoughts when they come into your mind, those words won't leave your mouth. Because the second they leave your mouth, all you're going to be thinking is, I just thought about what that person's going through, and here I am talking negatively about them.
Yeah.
And so having empathy for people that, like, you don't like, that you don't know, celebrities, like she was saying. Celebrities are still God's children, and they still have a life of their own, and you don't know all parts of it. You really don't. And so having that, like, unless you've met someone one-on-one, and even if you have met someone one-on-one, you don't know what's going on in their life.
Whether you know them or whether you don't, you still need to love them.
Yeah.
You still need to treat them as a child of God, because they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's literally what it is in the armor of God. This is a sword.
Also, can I say this?
Yes.
Gossip is usually not even true.
Nope. Most of the
time
Can I
not. Say that? You can feel like you know this person that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You don't know that person like Jesus does.
Right, because he literally knows.
So it's not going to be the truth. Most of the time, it's not even the truth. So just, you want to speak the truth, don't gossip.
Yeah. Think about it this way.
Yeah.
If you're standing in front of a professor and you go to talk on this topic that you know they know everything about, everything. They have their master's degree in this topic. And you go up and you start talking and say absolute false, just everything's wrong. You're just talking out of thin air. and all your classmates are like, wow, that's crazy. Your professor's sitting there like, you look so dumb right now. Think about that from a little bit of the comedic perspective of Jesus. You're sitting there just talking absolute crap about one of his kids, and he's like, do you know that their uncle just died last week?
Right.
Do you know that their parents are going through a divorce? No. So you
can't talk about someone like that unless you know someone like that, and you don't know anyone like that.
Right.
You don't know anyone like Jesus does, so you can't talk about them like that. You really can't talk about them at all.
No.
You know?
Unless you have something nice to say. And
if you have something
I said,
nice to say, nice things are good.
And we're talking to ourselves, too, when we're talking about this. The whole reason we're having this podcast episode is, 1, to challenge ourselves and talk about the subject, and 2, to help others, too, because I know it's such a topic that's just, it's big right now. Gossip is so easy to fall into.
It's
and
hard.
I've really felt that since going to college, when you're around all these people all at once, and you
college especially,
and you all know
I'm not
a
even
little
in
bit.
college, and it's like, it's at work. It's wild.
You
I
all
really
know,
only go to work right now, but
you all know a little bit about a lot of people's lives that makes you feel like you have the position to talk about them. Like, oh, well, I saw so-and-so with so-and-so last week. They must be cheating on so-and-so. How do you not know they weren't talking about a group project? Or little things like that. Like, how do you not know that's not so-and-so's best friend? Like, it's just the little things. If you never know the whole story, you never know the whole picture. And like I said, we're talking to ourselves too. That's where I got on this of like being in college it's really a struggle. And so going that like extra step and that like challenging yourself of like, you don't know what's going on. And so just not talking about people.
God gives us like the gift of words. Like, our words are so powerful, and we can either use that for something good, like prayer, or you can use it for something like gossip. But that's not how he wants us to use it, because
he didn't give us,
first of all,
things to use badly. He didn't give us things to sin with them.
Yes, he gave us words, like powerful words to use for prayer, to lift each other up in prayer, in words. And of course, the devil had to go pervert that, like he does with everything, like he does with everything. And I think that's his way of perverting powerful words in prayer, is by, like, honestly, it's just gossip.
Yeah.
Because gossip is still powerful, but in the wrong way.
Yep.
It's hurting people.
I have a good verse. My mom has this tattooed on her wrist. She has Philippians 4:8 tattooed on her wrist. And it's, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. So this goes to, it doesn't say at the end, say such things. It says think about such things, because what you have in your mind comes out of your mouth. And so whatever that is, gossip, all the other things I talked about, what you have in your mind comes out of your mouth and manifests into your life. And so, and I don't mean manifest in that weird, creepy way, spiritual, weird. Yes. I mean the literal definition of manifest happens. And so whatever you think about is what you'll do and what you will, ultimately turn to. So Philippians 4:8. Write it down, look it up, highlight it. It's a great verse. My mom always, like, if you ask her what's on her wrist, she'll start saying it. She loves that verse, so.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good one. It just challenges us to think about things that are completely pure. Like it says, doesn't say do such things, doesn't say such things. It says think about such things, because that's where it starts. It doesn't have to say do or say, because if you're thinking about those things, that is the actions. That's the fruit you'll bear, if that's the seeds that are planted in your mind.
Yeah.
You can't plant the seeds of a grape and expect an apple.
That's so true. So, to wrap that all up and kind of circle back to what I was talking about, God gives us the gift of prayer and powerful words, and I think we can use that for good. how he intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think using the gifts, that's what I was going to say. I was going to tie it into tithing. The message that you always hear at church with tithing is that God gives us gifts to see what we're going to do with them. Yeah. So if you take a gift that he gives you and you're like, oh, that's mine now, he's going to be like, nope. Take a gift and be like, here, God, what do you want me to do with this? Mm-hmm. It's yours. You gave it to me. What do you want me to do with this? This is yours still. You're letting me hold your possessions. It's still yours. I just have it right now. That comes with people. That comes with the gifts you have, voice, movement, health. What are you going to do with your privileges, with your gifts? You have a gift to speak. Speak truth. Speak life into people, around people. Make sure that you're using that gift to glorify God and to love others. Okay, that is our podcast episode for today. It's been great being back and talking. I love this. We're going to definitely be back. Whatever quality we have, we will be speaking truth and using our gifts to pour into others this summer for a little podcast. So, thank you guys so much for listening and for coming back with us.
Don't gossip.
Boom. You heard it here, folks.
We miss you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Share with your friends.
This episode.
On gossip.
Honestly, could be a good way to turn people away from it. If you're in a friend group,
you could be like, hey guys, I just heard this podcast.
Yeah, I think we should all listen to this together.
Think we should all watch it.
Grow as people.
Okay, thanks for joining us. It's been great being back, and hopefully this ultimately was the Spirit speaking through us and helped you, whoever's watching this, if this was something you're being convicted on, or this is just something you needed to hear. I hope that it spoke to those who needed to hear it. So, we love you guys, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next podcast episode.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.